Welcome, everybody. This is our June 11th, 2024 Village Board meeting. Hopefully, it'll be smooth and enjoyable. So I'd like to lead off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First item on the agenda, public comment. Is there anybody for public comment? Marie, come on up.
My name is Marie Trombini.
Marie, excuse me, Marie, you'll have to move either mic closer to you or stand closer to the mic, one or the other. You have to be really close to that mic, sorry.
Is that better? No.
It's like you sort of have to eat it. Sorry.
Probably take it off. In a previous meeting, I asked about village codes regarding fences, gates, walls, and front yard enclosures. I noted that the current version lacks previous wording for required setback and proper maintenance without trespassing on abutting property. My question was, how could both sides be maintained in respectable condition when there is no longer a setback requirement or no trespassing? The photos you are looking at show Julia Rosenbaum trespassing onto my property and clipping my grass from my front lawn. She scoops up the grass and puts it in her bucket and walks the grass clippings to West Chestnut Street, where she puts the grass clippings on the easement for the village crew to pick up. As noted in the mayor's June message, grass clippings are prohibited in all cleanup periods, and all material placed in front of the property for pickup shall be generated from that property. No other debris from any other source shall be included. While the trespassing part is for me to look into, since the village has weakened the requirement section of this code, I do wish to bring to the attention of anyone who receives a penalty from the village for a code violation to question, why me? As certain others are not fined for violations and penalties are apparently not equally applied. An additional note is that I have brought this matter to the attention of the village mayor and the code enforcement officer for going on 3 years now. I'll take those photos when you're done looking at them.
Have you shared these current photos with the village enforcement officer?
I have, yes.
Okay.
Have you had a response from them?
No, not really.
He's here right now if you want to go talk to him
Yeah.
about it.
Just left.
Seriously?
He just left. He just
Oh,
left.
we just
Just
left?
left?
Oh, shoot.
Yes, because this falls into their court.
I refer to him as Justin No Way. There's no way he's going to enforce these codes after 3 years.
I take umbrage with that statement. I think there must be something here going on that's not necessarily a code violation for him to not be enforcing on this. Just because you make a complaint doesn't mean that it's an illegal act. So I think we need to wait for him to actually make a decision on this. And so, you know, Gary and I can round up and talk to him about this, but I don't think it's fair to claim that our code enforcement officer is not enforcing our code.
Well, and I'm still waiting for him to get back to me on the fact that I have 100% front closure, yard closure, when you're supposed to be 40% open. It's been months.
So we'll round up and make sure it's at his attention. When it comes to grass clippings, we do not pick up grass clippings.
You pick up hers.
I hope they did not, because we don't.
They're gone. They were picked up. They're picked up for 3 years.
I'll look into that. We do not pick up grass clippings. Okay. And we will have the zoning enforcement officer reach out to you with one way or the other. Okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Karen, treasurer's report.
Okay.
Excuse me, is that it for public? Did anybody else want to comment?
Does anybody else want to make public comment? Thank you. Karen, treasurer's report.
Okay, treasurer's report is for the period ending May 31st. The general fund ended the month with $209,100.19. The water fund ended the month with $144,469. And the sewer fund ended the month with $163,107.70. Vouchers presented for payment in the general fund total $52,169.24. In the water fund, $32,907.48. In the sewer fund, $25,746.01. And for the capital project for the fire department apron, just the piece of it that the bill came in is $9,663.42. And the capital project for disposal of the biosolids, $79,900. The water and sewer upgrade project, $33,414.20. And those are, vouchers are downstairs, and those are being presented for payment. I do want to just let you know that those are still May bills, and that the June bills will be presented at your second meeting on the 25th. The June monthly water and sewer billing went out at $57,545.14, and those are due 6/25. And adjustments were signed off by the mayor.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the adjustments as noted.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Tax bills were sent out May 31st. Budget amendments will also be presented at the 6/25 meeting. Also, just a case in point, on the June 19th, I will be paying off the $325,000 bond anticipation note for the wastewater treatment plant project, and then it will be totally through the EFC to get reimbursed for the duration of that project.
Great.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Move right into purchase requests. So as everybody on the board knows, we've been investigating a new sound system to replace that box that's over there on the side, and buy new speakers, but the goal here is to go wireless with a wireless system. I went out and got 3 quotes to represent what we could do to be able to do this wire system. And just to give a little bit more backup, we received a grant for $25,000, of which there's $5,250 left, because the other was spent on technology improvements for new computers for Village Hall, Fire Department, and et cetera. So we have $5,250. Of the 3 quotes, the first one would be that I'm going to propose, and I'll get into each one. The first one would total $4,439. The other one, which is a wired system, not wireless, would be $5,111.07. And as they're from Sweetwater Wireless, their proposal for a really top of the line wireless system was $17,645.
Jeepers.
So what I would like to propose is we approve the purchase request for, it's really not one purchase request, because just to put a little backup on this, I had a sound system that was person come in that was recommended, and as it's in your email, he came out with pieces, the parts that we needed to do the job. We met with him, went over the discussion, went over how it was done, and to purchase all the parts, and then have somebody help us with the installation, and then have another person help us with the electrical, and I can explain most of that. That was what brings it up to $4,439 for the wireless system. So it would be replacing that box, and the main difference is there'd be a speaker hanging there on the ceiling. that would be wired into our electrical to be turned on, and then a wire that would run over to the mixer, and then the mixer would put the sound, be connected to the speaker to put the sound out, and then and with that ordered 8 microphones to go with that. So that brings it up to $4,439.
And that includes a microphone for the
Yeah,
podium?
the eight microphones,
Oh, nice.
yes.
So is that a person who sells this, or is that somebody?
No, he was just a sound expert, as I mentioned earlier. He recommended the parts that we buy.
Okay.
We can buy all the parts, gave us all the locations to purchase all the parts, to go online and buy them. And then I worked with another person who gave us a quote for between $300 and $500 to help with do the installation. And then another person to hang that speaker and wire it in, which is the electrical component part of it. So I'd like to make a motion to approve using the remaining grant money to purchase this sound system for $4,439.
Second.
Discussion.
So at some point, we'll also have to have an electrician come in and do some wiring.
The electrician's quote here
Oh, is it? Okay.
is $450, which was in your minutes.
Great.
Here.
So this would sort of be stationary, we'd have to use it here, or could we?
The speaker is stationary. That's the only thing that's stationary. You could hook it to other speakers.
But we wouldn't have, would we have another one? I don't know, I'm just thinking for.
No, I don't have another speaker.
Well, we have.
But we have these guys. You
Kicking
just
around.
keep these guys.
Okay.
I did not order another speaker.
No, I was just asking, how flexible the system would be.
The speaker becomes hardwired up here
And
to come out sound this way.
it's compatible with the OWL system that we got?
So anything is compatible to
Yeah.
the OWL. The OWL is its own system,
Right.
not really tied into this, so it's not.
I mean, the owl was always just gonna be picking up the amplified
Right.
voices anyway.
So it works, the OWL works on its own.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why we purchased the 2 owls, so we could do here and there as well, if we get into hybrid meetings.
So the guy that recommended this system is a friend of mine, and he works for the sound department at, oh my God, what is the name of that college? RPI.
RPI.
And so just, so if you need like a little credibility on this one,
Yeah,
like,
it's just-
this is literally what he does for a living. And so I've been to a show up at RPI he handled, and it sounds great.
Does he live in Rhinebeck?
He lives in Sardis.
Socrates, yes. And the other 2, I mean, is he available? Yes. He would give us some advice and counsel to help us if we needed to get started. The other were from a company which was recommended to us called Sweetwater. And they're not local, and the only way you can get support from them is by telephone.
They do like high-end home installation kind of sound systems.
Oh, big installations, they
Yeah,
do.
like college and like, the high-end stuff.
All right.
I think this is great. Thanks for like jerry-rigging this together.
Yeah.
I'm glad that
Yeah,
Todd worked
amazing.
out. Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolutions. Next one on the agenda is task order number 40. Task order number 40, let me get the resolutions, is, to sum it up, basically, is something we've been talking about for a while. We put a quote in we asked for a grant last year. This is for the mini park. So it would be to work on a design for the wetlands in the mini park so that the children's area in the mini park could be eventually rebuilt. If anybody's walked the mini park during the wet part of the season, and probably after heavy rains, they know that that section of the park past what was the children's play area really becomes very, very wet. And we can't mow it, we can't maintain it. And so this would be to create a design for what needs to be done to help us drain that wetland portion of the mini park. Total cost of the improvement of the work is $9,750 to do the design work.
Just for the design, not the actual improvement.
This is just design by tie and bond. I'd like to make a motion to approve getting the design done for $9,750 by tie and bond. And so we have a plan that we could possibly work on going forward to address the wet area in the mini park.
Second.
Discussion.
So this is hopefully prior to the Lions doing any of their.
It has to be.
Has
We
to
can't.
be done prior to the Lions.
Even the existing area where the children's area was becomes a little bit of a pond
Mhm,
in the wet season.
mhm.
Yeah, remember we discussed this during the budget season.
Yep.
So,
And we did make sure we have money in the budget to do this.
good,
So-
go ahead, Lindy.
No, I was just gonna say, during the budget process, I was sort of questioning whether this was something that we needed to be thinking about now when we're thinking about all sorts of other things that are going on in the village. It just feels like we have a lot of tabs open at the moment. I'm aware that this is something that we have to think about because it floods, but at the moment, we don't have to do anything about it when it floods, it just floods. I'm also a little concerned, not even a little concerned. The Landsman Kill is how a lot of water is now draining out of Rhinebeck and east of Rhinebeck. It's all coming through the Landsman Kill. And I don't know the answer to this question, and it doesn't seem like this task order is asking this particular question. But I don't know if this part of the Landsman Kill is now, given sort of the severity of storms these days and all the rest of it, destined to just become a wetland. And so I don't feel comfortable thinking about drainage until we've sort of done an evaluation of whether this is just sort of a permanently semi-flooded portion of the creek, and we need to kind of think about whether or not that part of the park is really a usable part of the park anymore. I just have some concerns about, a park that was built in the 1950s, all well and good, and it's been used and it's been beloved and all the rest of it, but so much has changed environmentally that maybe this is not a park that has the same boundaries that it used to have. I don't know the answer to that question, but I think trying to figure out how to drain something that is already being used to drain everything else, we're gonna run out of spots to drain if we're not letting the creek take the water. So I don't know the answers to these questions. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an environmental scientist, but it just kind of seems like continuing to enforce boundaries of these squishy parts of our community may not be the best use of our time or resources.
So I think Vanessa actually addressed your question when we did the budget
She
section.
did, and I genuinely don't remember the answer, I'm
And-
sorry.
I'm gonna say what I think she said, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, but she said that this is probably the 50-year area that we need to be concerned about, not the intimate area that we need to be concerned about, which are other areas. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think what you're bringing up is totally valid, and I think maybe we can ask Ty and Bond, like, listen, if we're putting in drainage, can we make sure that the next Hurricane Irene that comes through and that entire park is inundated, is this infrastructure that we're paying all this money for going to be washed away? Or is it going to actually help that water flow out and flow through? I think it's about like adapting to the new reality. But it's not like the banks of the Landsman Kill right there are overflowing on the regular, unlike some areas of the Landsman Kill upstream that we've observed,
Right,
total flooding happening.
yeah.
So, like, I think what we're looking at in the next 50 years is like more frequent hurricanes, like a Hurricane Irene coming and like inundating that park. But that's not gonna be happening like all the time.
Okay, so this kind of wetness, for lack of a better word, marshiness isn't being created by, say, like the 4 inches of rain that we got the other
It's
day.
seasonal.
So I think, Lydia, I can say it this way, it's not the water table that's rising, it's the fact that that is at the bottom of the slope. So when it rains, all the water comes there, but the level of the landsman, the water table, is still below there. It's the fact that,
So the landsman isn't like rising to
No,
meet
no,
it.
no.
This is actually, like, if this is done well with enough capacity to handle the increasingly intense deluges of rainwater, then what we're doing is exactly what you're describing, which is moving more water through the system into the landsman kill.
Okay.
Yeah.
And remember, this is not to build the infrastructure. This is to create the design.
And theoretically, if we have this plan, we might be able to go out for a grant in order to,
Of course, we don't know how much this is gonna cost.
right, well, that's the point of the design, right?
Right.
Okay,
It was quoted, and to wait to see, but is that they anticipate that we could do this ourselves with our existing equipment. It's pipes and
it's
stone.
pipes and digging and stone and, okay.
But we
Speaking of-
need to design, we need to understand what the permitting costs are, because to go into the landfill. We
Right.
need all of that
DEC.
worked out.
Okay, so slightly different topic. We have a lot of projects going on at the moment. Water, wastewater, the ones that I can just think of off the top of my head, there's at least 10. And I know I'm not thinking of some, not even off the top of my head. We are very busy. Every time I talk to Brandy, and as it relates to comp plan stuff, she jokes about how we are one of the busiest municipalities in her portfolio, and we're a village of 2,800 people. I know that all of this busyness is producing really good stuff, but I'm just wondering, at what point can we just slow down?
Good question.
Or maybe possibly prioritize, because we have different projects from time bond open, but we can't keep studying everything and not doing something. So should we spend that money on completing a project versus opening up another one?
So one thing that I learned very early when I first got to the board is if you want to receive grant money, you have to have a plan. And so what we found initially when there were no plans and we initially went out for grants, people are like, you don't have a plan. So one thing that this does is this creates a situation where we don't have to sort of build it now, but let's say there is some grant money out there, then we have this plan in hand so we can go move on the grant monies that are out there. So I do think it's important to have these kinds of things in place so that we can be active and proactive.
When we get the email from
When-
the judge's office. that
Right,
it's
when it
okay.
says, when it says the grant, when it
I'm
says
not
the grant is
arguing
due, when
against
the grant is
that.
due in 6 weeks, right?
I'm not arguing against that, it's just how many should be put in place? How many can we afford to put in place?
So I met with Brandy
That's all I'm
today, and
saying.
actually trustee Lewis was with me. We were talking about other things, but I brought this up and I said, is this within your scope to be able to do for us? And she said, yes, absolutely. So
What's within her scope
to do this design.
Yeah, no, that I'm not
We're
worried
not
about.
questioning.
Well, that's what we're approving tonight, is doing the design.
No, I'm not worried about
We're
Brandy's
not
qualifications.
approving trying to take on another project to do infrastructure.
But the point is,
The-
this should lead to something.
Right, the point is if we're spending $10,000 on this, then we're not spending $10,000 on, say, like fixing something that we already do have a design for that needs to get done that we didn't get grant money for. This is sort of,
I don't know of any of those
I
right
don't know,
now.
yeah, I don't know what you're thinking.
Name one.
well, we haven't gotten a design yet for the problem at Chestnut and Star and
We
Crossmore.
we allocated money for that as well in the budget
That's coming.
to do, and that'll be put on the table. All this was put in the budget as a priority to work for.
Where's the
all-
safe schools
We-
grant?
yeah.
We don't know yet.
We don't know where the Safe versus School grant is yet.
We don't know.
We don't know what we're gonna do with that, when or if or whatever.
And that 4 million won't, this is.
I know,
minuscule compared to
$10,000 is not gonna knock off
that. Yeah,
much of a $2 million project, but I'm just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I have like 7 sort of major projects that I feel like I'm managing, like for the village.
we're all managing projects.
I know we're all managing projects, and I know that this like you know, and I know that like everybody is managing projects, and for the number of people who are, you know, employed by the village to manage projects, we are asking a lot out of all of them.
But-
Yeah, I
But
really
again,
agree
this
with
is not,
but
no employee is involved in this at all.
There's 5 of them currently involved with it right
Well,
now.
I said employee,
You're not employees.
you're an elected official.
Well, sometimes it feels like I'm an employee.
Well, yeah, here's the thing though, this is the only playground for children to use in the village. And this is a blocker to being able to make improvements to this park.
And the Lions Club is actively trying to raise money to improve the park.
How they doing with that?
I don't know.
They raised 5,000.
Okay, so they've got a ways to go. Okay.
I understand your point. Good
Yeah.
point.
And I know that we budgeted for it, and like, it's just, sometimes this job feels like we're all being asked to bite off a lot. I'm just gonna say that out loud,
Okay,
then back
okay.
away.
Don't bring any more of your 7 projects forward like that.
Okay, I
Put a
won't.
stop on what you're doing.
Oh, can we just put a stop on the comp plan?
We put money in, we put money in the budget for you.
I'm not arguing about the budgeting of it, I'm arguing about my sanity.
Welcome to our world.
Can we
I know, I'm fully aware of our
Can we take a
world.
vote on that Saturday?
Yeah, you know. maybe.
All right,
All right.
enough banter.
Okay.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I am.
Opposed.
3-2.
You voted nay?
Hmm?
You voted nay?
I did vote nay.
Yes.
Welcome to a first.
Yep, no worries.
Yeah.
Vanessa, CCA Advisory Task Committee.
Okay. As you know, we passed the enabling legislation for community choice aggregation. And the next step we'd like to take is to select or open for submissions to a working group. This would be an advisory working group for the board. They would be basically helping us develop an RFP for a program administrator and then reviewing the applicants, basically enabling us to move forward and get a CCA set up if we choose to go that route. So I'd like to make a motion that we pass this resolution on community choice aggregation for a working group.
I second it.
And
So you're going to oversee the group, right?
yes, I'll be the liaison to the board. I think Rick, you'll be on the working group with me, yeah. So we're looking for a few community members, and Martina will put out a description of what we're looking for. It would be amazing if there's someone in the community that has some experience with this type of work. Not required, of course, but that would be excellent if you're out there. And I'm proposing that Martina publish it on the website as well as all of our usual channels. And then we have a deadline 3 weeks from that publication date for submissions.
Moving right along.
Okay, so how much work we gonna have to do?
I give up.
There you go. Farmed out to committee.
I mean, seeing Martina to post it.
You don't have to do anything, what are you talking about?
No, we do. I mean, after you form the group and then come back to the
Gather.
recommendation, there's a lot of follow-up work to make this happen.
Yeah, we have a NYSERDA really tries to assist municipalities in this process. So we have some templates and some guidelines to work from. So we're not making it from scratch, but yeah, it will be eventually asking the board to review the RFP, and then hopefully we'll get, there's really only kind of 2 players in this area, Jewel and Mid-Hudson Energy. So we'll be hopefully getting 2 proposals. Again, if and when we choose to pursue this.
How long do we keep the application process open?
So I'm suggesting that we publish it and then have it open for 3 weeks. And we'll see what we get. We're looking for just a few people, I think.
Any other discussion?
So do you want to keep it till Wednesday the 3rd or technically Friday the 5th?
Why don't we do Friday the 5th, or maybe even
Yes.
like after the long weekend?
Yeah, I would.
Let's do it after July 4th weekend, Monday.
So Monday the 8th?
Yeah.
I can't imagine if somebody hasn't gotten it in by the 5th, they're gonna take July 4th weekend to get something.
Yeah. I was
Maybe
thinking
by the
that whole,
following Friday.
I would think that whole week is shot, is my
Yeah.
concern. The
I'm
week
not
of,
here the 4th or the 5th.
the week before is shot.
What's the following Friday? The 12th?
Oh, the 12th.
Friday the 12th? Cool. Great.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Rick?
Okay. I was trying to make a long story somewhat short. We have a small bridge, pedestrian bridge at Route 9 and the Landsman Kill. And on that little pedestrian bridge was a set of railings that
Beautiful.
were beautiful, kind of cool railings that, as far as we can tell, were probably forged sometime in the late 19th century. So sometime in 1880, 1890, there's a picture in the mayor's office of the old derelict mill there, and you can actually see, if you look up, there's 2 bicycles, and you can actually see the old railing there. Unfortunately, last year, that railing stood there for like 130 years in various forms. Unfortunately, last year there was an unfortunate automobile accident. It was a medical condition, and somebody ran into the railings, and they were pretty well mangled. While this is all happening, the state is getting ready to replace that bridge as well. And that work is now scheduled to start in the fall of 2025. Because we're in a historic district and those are old, the State Office of Historic Preservation has been involved. And I got a phone call from their office, and they said, if you have a place to put these railings, I can have the state restore them for you.
Sorry, what, if we put what?
If we have a place to put the railings.
Like
if
a
we-
warehouse or something?
No, like a place to, a
Oh,
place
wait,
to put
it's
the-
another project.
So, no, that's actually exactly what the state doesn't want, is us to have them restored and then stick them in a warehouse.
Right.
Right, so, what I'm asking the board to do is pledge to reinstall these railings somewhere in Legion Park, which is right close to where they were initially. There's a spot up by the dam where they might work. We could probably put up a little plaque to explain what they are, maybe a reproduction of a photograph. It's just kind of a neat piece of Rhinebeck history that I'd like to see maintained. If you look at any of the old pictures of the Astor Bridge, those railings are in that picture. And I think just a nice thing to keep them around. So basically what I'm doing is asking the board to pledge that we will find a place in Legion Park to either use or display these railings so that the New York State Department of Transportation will pay for their renovation and their rehabilitation. Do I vote?
Oh, a project that we don't have to pay for.
Oh, no, you have, we have to pay for the installation.
Yeah, but we don't have to pay for the
install it. No,
restoration.
the restoration, that's gonna be a bit of a bear, let me tell you, they got pretty mangled.
Yeah.
So I put together this, so I'd like to ask the board's support for this resolution to pledge that we will install those railings somewhere in Legion Park.
So moved.
So when we say somewhere,
Wait, I second it.
Yeah,
so,
Now discussion.
yeah.
so if we say somewhere, I mean, you're talking on top, which would be fine, but is there any thought of putting them near the memorial or anything? I mean, I just didn't want, would Legion members have a problem if we tried to put it,
I think we can, location TBD, I think we need to work out what's gonna happen. I think the park, the state is doing a pretty large bridge project there. And one of the things that they're doing is they are reopening the width of the stream channel right now there's a little box culvert there.
Speaking of drainage.
Right, and so, yeah, speaking of drainage, so they're gonna be reopening it, so they're gonna be doing a lot of construction down in that part of the park, and so I think once we see what they finish constructing and how things are looking, we may see maybe there's something closer to the bridge where it was, maybe there's something up top.
So
Something.
you don't have to submit your design vis union.
No, we have to pledge to use them on our
We
property.
have to pledge to use them on our property, put them up somewhere that they're not gonna be
And-
stuck away in somebody's garage.
And we will pledge to say we want to do it at the Legion Park,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crystal Lake Park.
Right, which is, you know.
Just by the way, it's name only, we still have total
I
ownership and
get that,
responsibility.
I get that, but I just think it would be just a
We
courtesy.
could talk to the Legion about it.
That's what I'm saying. Just-
We can talk about where it should be sited in the park, that's
And
fine.
this has nothing to do with that, but do you know what they're doing with the footbridge there? Are they going to?
That footbridge will be disappearing,
Oh,
so
no, really?
basically,
Yeah, that was the plan, we
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about
we saw this
this.
a long time ago.
I
So
know.
basically, the situation is, what the problem, one of
Will
the
there be
problems
a
with.
sidewalk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sidewalks incorporated into the new bridge.
Let
Okay,
me take
sorry.
this up. One of the problems with that bridge, and the reason why the accident was so bad, is that it doesn't have traffic attenuation devices at either side. So if you go to most modern bridges, you'll see when the railing, come up to the railing, there's usually a curve, so if you drive into it, you don't plow right into the edge of the pier or anything. That bridge lacks any of the modern kind of safety standards.
Hence car upside down, almost.
And car is not so good, right? And in order to build out those safety the safety standards, basically, it would eliminate the space that you could put an exterior pathway, an exterior bridge. So they're gonna bring the sidewalk onto the bridge. We can walk over it, it'll be interior to the barrier. We went through a lot of iterations with them to see if we could, what's very nice now is that you have this little bridge and it's separated and it's really quite lovely. There just wasn't a way to engineer
Well,
it.
no, they said we could put in a pedestrian bridge, it would be at our
At our
expense.
expense, and it would
And
be
now-
an enormous,
At our enormous expense,
At
and they
enormous
were
expense.
willing to at least build a sidewalk as part of their
And
bridge,
they're
and
gonna-
so it was fine.
and
Okay.
they've also agreed that they're gonna use a type of railing that is, the design is somewhat reminiscent of the design that went into the concrete Astor Bridge.
Cool.
So it's kind of.
Not the metal railing, the
The
con.
No, the
concrete,
concrete, yeah,
right,
the concrete's pretty cool.
The concrete that's there is completely historical to what
Yeah.
the Astor Bridge was. And hopefully with some light stanchions, just like the Astor Bridge had. So hopefully, what we'd like to see is sort of be a little gateway signal to the south side of the village, so for people coming into the village.
We have a rendering of it that we showed them.
Yeah, a while ago. And
It's been a
while-
minute.
Yeah, and they've already slipped a year in there.
Right. It's been a minute, and
Yeah.
they've slipped a year,
Yeah.
and, you know,
So, I'd like to make a motion to call a vote.
Okay. We're getting off on the bridge design, and we're talking about railings.
Yeah.
All in favor of having New York State repair the existing railing, say aye.
Aye. very nicely done resolution. Thanks.
Martina, can you talk about the surplus scrap?
I have no other information other than the water department has a pickup truck and trailer for surplus.
Because I have no other information either. We don't know the detail.
I have no information on it.
So I think we should table this till we get detailed information.
Okay.
Okay? Special requests. The first one on my list is the filming request. And Martina, you know more about this than I do. Don't you?
I only know what's on the other.
All right, well, all right, so they want this, from what I can gather from this, they want to come in, and talk to people about Disney.
Sorry, who's they?
They are,
Assassin Entertainment LLC?
Yeah.
Do we have any more information on them?
The gentleman's name is Ira.
Ira, no,
Ira.
that's not that helpful.
yes, and they want to be on our sidewalks, and talk to people about Disney, and just FYI, both police and fire have signed off on this one.
Do they have a perspective? Is this a documentary? Are they trying to get people?
I told you everything I now know.
Okay. I'm not gonna vote.
I was not privy to any other information by Assassin Entertainment.
They don't have any information about themselves.
So,
Granted, they filled out our extensive filming application,
did.
which asks
Beautiful
all the
job.
questions that you wanted, so.
Yes. And I would also say, my one question, well, we haven't, should we make a motion and open discussion?
I don't know if the motion is to accept or reject.
yeah, I mean, I have,
They're there for one day.
I don't care if they're annoying our people and pestering them about Disneyland.
And my other question is, this is 10 people, so they would owe us $150 per day.
Correct, and he's aware of that.
I don't have enough information. So I'm going to make a motion that we table this until we get a little bit more detailed information about what exactly they want to do and where this data will end up and as more
All the other thing.
relevant. Okay? So
Can you
second.
guys send me them questions that you'd like? Because again, he filled out our application asking all the questions you wanted.
I know,
Okay,
but-
why don't we just bounce the questions off you right now? What is the purpose of these interviews?
To put on whatever platform that he has.
Right.
As is with any other filming.
Ugh.
Yeah. You're gonna mind the content regulation business?
No, we're not in the content regulation business.
Yeah.
In fact, we can't be in the content regulation business. I'm just wondering if this is going to be an annoying thing for the people on our sidewalks or an interesting thing for the people on our sidewalks, or
It's a Tuesday. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's June. It's,
it's probably gonna be a summer day.
let's see, no, it's 23rd. It's a
Date of the meeting
Sunday.
is June 23rd.
Sunday. I mean, my only, you said it's as long as the sidewalk is free and clear for people to move through, there's enough room for people to move through.
It's on the sidewalk between Winter Sun and Summer Moon.
Have they gotten permission from Winter Sun, Summer Moon on this?
Still no.
Maybe that's a question. Have they gotten permission from the store owner?
Do they need to have permission to use
Not
the
to,
public
not to
sidewalk?
stand on the sidewalk. If
Yeah.
they were
I don't think they
tabling,
need
they
permission
were
to stand on the
tabling it.
sidewalk.
Yeah.
They're not setting up a display, not doing a table. They're asking for filming requests. So I do not believe they need permission from the storefront. It'd be nice to not be an inconvenience.
It was sort of, just like the ZBA doesn't need to have permission from the neighbors, but they like to hear whether or not the neighbors have a
That's what I said.
concern. Yeah, I feel like this is something that we could ask them.
Oh, yes, we have to turn it pretty quick, because it's for,
The 23rd, and that would
Yeah.
be before our next meeting.
Before our next meeting.
right. Do you want to say okay with the condition of that Summer Moon, Winter Sun, Summer Moon is agreeable?
Has at least been informed,
Yeah.
has had a chance to protest.
And they may have been, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't see how we can
Yeah,
say no to it.
we can't, yeah, we can't really say no to it.
So amend the motion?
So where do we stand right
I
now?
don't even have an
All right.
No, you don't
so-
have a motion.
So the issue was we need more information. I think there's still issues to make.
I'd like to make a motion to accept this application with the stipulation that the applicant has spoken to the
Adjacent property owner.
adjacent property owner.
Because we do have a special note in here, and I'll make sure everybody's aware, the Village of Rhinebeck, in its discretion, may approve additional requirements prior to the issuance of the permit. Okay, so that's our requirement. Do I have a second? Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Oh, a second.
Oh, who seconded?
I seconded it.
Oh.
Next, Juneteenth.
You're very proud of this application.
So moving forward, typically every year we get a special request from the school to do a Juneteenth art display out in front of Village Hall. This is going to be as soon as possible through June 24th. It'll be set up on front of Village Hall here. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Juneteenth display in front of Village Hall.
Second.
Discussion?
Effective when?
Rick seconded.
Effective as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's as soon as, put up now through the 24th.
On the morrow.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So passed.
Rick.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes. Okay, hang on.
You don't know, there's a no.
Oh, that's two dates.
Okay.
5/14, 5/14.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Last meeting was 5:14
And 528.
and 5:20. Do I have a second?
On which? We need to take them separately.
You can do it. Okay, 5:14. Make a motion to approve the minutes for 5:14.
I wasn't there.
Oh, I haven't read them yet. So one of you guys need to do it.
I'll second.
Any
Martina,
discussion?
you got my comment, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for some reason, I only had one open, so I was just wondering if we could wait, do it at the next meeting maybe.
Well, let's talk, we're talking about 5:14 right now. Did you have 5:14?
Which is the one that I sent, that I noticed?
5/14.
Okay, all right.
So if you have 5:14, you can motion on 5:14. Okay?
Well, I have a motion and I have a second.
Yes. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes for 5:14, say aye. Aye.
Abstain.
And I abstain as well.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for 5:28.
Second. I sent you a note about
I don't
Discussion?
know what happened, I didn't see those.
You didn't get them? I sent you some notes on, about 3 minutes before the meeting started.
Okay.
But otherwise, it was fine.
I don't know where stuff has gone. I don't know what to.
I don't know, I have a lot of trouble with the
Without it.
Microsoft stuff. Because I thought they both came through, but then when I went to open them up, there was only one showing.
Well, they were two separate attachments.
Right.
I know, but I only had the one when I went to. Sometimes I look on my computer and something's there that's not on my phone and vice versa. And I was just talking to Vanessa, I have a feed on my phone, which I don't have on my computer, and all sorts of interesting stuff shows up on my feed that doesn't show elsewhere. So I was going to talk to Martina about that.
Weird.
But I can't vote on that because I haven't read them.
But you guys can.
I can go on.
Yeah.
I can move on.
Right.
Right. All in favor of approving the 5:28 meeting, say aye.
Aye.
I'm abstaining.
Abstain.
I'm abstaining to it every day. That's great.
Committees. Rick, Tree
Okay.
Commission.
I'd like to point out some of the hard work of the Tree Commission. As many people have noticed, the spongy moths have been out eating and attacking, eating and
So
attacking
big
our
now.
trees, and especially the oaks. So in the last couple of weeks, the tree commissioners, volunteers, have gone out and wrapped over 90 trees. If you see them around, especially the younger trees that we've planted, which are much more susceptible to being denuded and then having to recover. So I just want to thank the tree commission members for going out for wrapping 90 trees. They did that, on their own time, and they've worked really hard. They've also been working with the mayor and Martina to get out information concerning the spongy moth infestation. So, and just as a parenthetical, it's going to actually alter the kinds of trees that will be available to plant this fall and in the spring, because the commission will not plant spongy moth susceptible trees probably for the next year or so until the infestation has worked its way
They've moved on.
through the system, yes.
Excuse me, question. Is this
Sure.
infestation not a one-year event?
Well, I think the idea is it may be, they don't want to plant anything in the spring that might be affected by a residual, because the young trees are just so susceptible to any kind of damage.
Spongy moths can hang out in a specific area for up to 3 years before they
Oh.
move on.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's why they used to be called gypsy moths. Because they would hang out for a bit and then move on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Or if there's ever anything like that, I don't know, maybe we could send out a notice or something?
We
I
did.
would have been happy.
We did,
We
You
did.
did?
we did.
We did.
Martina sent out a
Several.
notice?
Sure
did.
Yep.
Missed that, sorry.
Yeah. We also have two applications, one from Two Somers, Dr. James Wing, for the removal of two dead maples. The commissioners recommend the Board of Trustees approves the removal of the two maples at Two Somers. I'd like to make a motion for the removal of two trees at Two Somers Drive. It's not Dr. James Wing, it's
Second.
Somers Drive.
Somers Drive.
Somers Drive, Somers Drive.
Somers.
Somers Drive, not Dr. James Wing. Just Mr. James Wing.
Second.
There you go.
Any discussion?
They're two dead trees.
They're two dead trees.
Great.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, now I have another application. This one is from 14 Cozine. Also for the removal of two maples. Meg was able to get over to the house and take a look, and she has, she suggested, and the other members suggest that those trees also be approved for removal. So I'd like to make a motion for the removal of two trees at 14 Cozine Avenue. Cozine, sorry. Cozine. You say Cozine, I can't say Cozine.
Second. Just for
You said tomato.
just for additional information, we had a large branch come down Saturday and take out electrical power off the one tree.
No, that's a bummer.
Yeah, so just to add further dead wood to the subject.
Oh.
A
Cozine.
second, all in favor? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Please note that all these trees are at the owner's expense.
Yeah, with certified records, they're all set.
Okay, anything else? You done devastating our forest, Rick?
Actually, I believe that Mr. Wing has already requested replacement trees for his trees that are going in. He spoke with Meg about that. And actually, one nice thing, the tree commission has been very active, and we've been receiving a lot of requests from folks all around the village for trees. So you can contact through Martina's office if you're interested in requesting a tree. Folks will go out, they'll evaluate the site. Depending upon which area of the village we tend to be in, it may be a year or two before we get there. But certainly if you have a spot where you'd like to see a tree in your, either in the right of way or just beyond the right of way in your front yard, please contact the village clerk.
Well, we have members in our audience that have submitted a request for trees. Paul and Brenda are here,
Okay.
so we should entertain their request while they're here to understand the definition of what they would like.
Sure.
Do we need to reopen public comment for that?
No,
Okay.
I'm asking them to, Brenda or Paul, do either
Sure.
one of you want to come up and just state what you would like to have done?
Sure. What do you want me here?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Just
Careful with the
for the
wires.
public purposes, give your
I
name and
understand.
address.
Yep. Okay, my name's Brenda Clapworth, and I live at 132 East Market Street. And I originally put a request in using the form that is required to have a tree trimmed. And after Dave's tree company came and looked at it, and we realized that my sidewalks are so, I knew it anyway, the sidewalks are in such poor condition that if he took the limbs down that are interfering with my other trees, I still have a major problem with all my sidewalks. And my choice now, I feel, is I either remove all my blue stones and keep the trees, or I keep the trees and I can't have both, they don't work. They looked at it, she agreed that I could have the trees, the limbs trimmed, but that the problem would continue. So my recommendation is, we looked around the village, and there's numerous side streets that do not have sidewalks on both sides of the street. My street's very narrow. My side, it's really just my sidewalk on my end and a neighbor's. And being on a corner, I've already spent a lot of money laying sidewalks, relaying sidewalks. And then either I put the trees in or the village did, and they're not appropriate. And I can't afford to redo the sidewalks. It can't work without major reconfiguration. And the trees are beautiful. I've sent you pictures, all of them. I think I attached them if you've all seen them to my email. The trees are lovely. To me, the trees are more important than a sidewalk that people don't use much anyway. So I'm requesting permission to remove the stones on my side of Beach Street so I can keep my trees.
I don't know what our process is for removing sidewalks. I think that has to go, would that have to go in front of the planning board?
Yeah.
I'm asking out loud.
Um,
That I think that's a planning board.
I think we need to spend some time with legal figuring the question out. Just so you know, sidewalks have been a hot
Oh,
topic.
I'm right this week. I've been here 52 years.
Right.
And I understand all that. And
Yeah.
I love my blue stones, but I love my trees too. And
Yeah.
they don't work.
So you can't have, the problem, we understand the problem, you can't have one or the other. And so it's either take down the trees or remove the sidewalk.
Right.
I think we understand that.
Right.
Your request though is to remove the sidewalk
Not
Yes.
the trees.
and not the trees. So
Yes.
that, what I'm saying is that I would like to have that go in front of the planning board, but
If that's
if that's the right place.
the right place for it to go.
And so we need to ask that question.
Fine.
Yeah.
So we just got your email.
I only sent it yesterday,
Yeah.
and then I happened to look at the agenda, and I thought, well, this is good timing.
Well-
But I didn't know how much you people have really talked about it yet, but I understand about the planning board.
No, we haven't talked about it. This is the
Right,
first
I
time we're
understand
talking.
how you couldn't have, right.
Yeah.
Right, so the discussion at the tree commission, we were very appreciative of your desire to keep the trees, we love the trees too, but we can't really make any,
I understand.
can't make a decision on the sidewalk, that's not our purview.
That's not your.
So, That's
right.
not our, that's not our.
And it
Sort of.
sets some sort of precedence about the removal of sidewalks.
I understand, I mean, you look around the village, and do you know how many people have just taken them up? I mean, over the
Well,
years, and they
but
haven't
Brenda,
gone
we-
through the process.
We
I
don't,
wanna do that.
we don't typically allow that.
I understand, but it's there. Or I could blacktop it like the Beekman Arms, and we allow that, we allow another one on East Market Street, and then maybe the village would be all right, but we certainly don't want
So
that.
Brenda, here's what, I will talk to the planning board and we will tell you whether you have to come in front of the planning
Okay,
board
sure.
to
That's reasonable.
do that. How's that?
Wonderful.
And we'll get back to you. Give me a couple days.
That's all right. It's-
All right.
They've been like that, like I say, a neighbor, somebody just fell this last week. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not gonna state my opinion, but I'm gonna talk to the planning.
Okay, okay. Very good. Well, I appreciate it all. Thank you.
Thank you, yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
I think it's worth just having this conversation in front of an audience. We've received more than one email from folks who are asking what the process is for the village to force property owners to put sidewalks back in front of their homes
That were removed.
that had been removed at a previous date, unknown permissions, whatever. And as anybody who's been paying any attention, the sidewalks are sort of a hot topic in the comp plan process. And so, we're gonna have to take a look at our current laws, but what the comprehensive plan committee process is asking the village to do is to add as many sidewalks as humanly possible and to have all of those sidewalks be walkable and figure out a way to have that be an affordable thing. This all might just be a magical wish list, we don't know. But that is the wish list of the community that responded to all of the public survey input. So thank you, really good to know, especially with trees heaving sidewalks. It causes a problem for the homeowner, it causes a problem for the sidewalk. It'd be great if the tree commission had recommendations on trees that don't heave sidewalks.
Well, we do, and that's why we.
That's what we do.
That's why we plant in the
But
ground.
can I
That's
just
part-
say
That's
one
part of
thing?
why the plow planting is part of it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, could I say one thing? The one tree the village put in was recommended that it would not be a problem.
And here it is.
And here it is.
All right, we'll
Right.
have them all shot.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think hopefully we've learned.
You learned,
Hopefully we learned.
right.
I
Very much.
imagine maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I mean, let's.
Thank
keep-
you. Yeah, no, I know,
Yeah.
but I just think it's
Yeah.
worth saying it all out loud, because
And-
not everybody pays attention to every conversation, so.
All right, very good. Okay, Village of Rhinebeck Climate Smart Task Force.
That's right. We should be able to make a public announcement soon about our bronze recertification. Wink, wink. On Friday, the town and the village are partnering to host a focus group, really centered on older adults' experience of climate impacts. This is for our CAPI Adapt project, our Climate Action Planning Institute cohort, where we're working on vulnerabilities and climate impacts for an adaptation plan. So just wanted to give you a heads up that that's happening. We are still on the hunt for a project to be able to spend the NYSERDA grant that we earned. We earned a $10,000 grant, and we're like in the process of getting a $50,000 grant for a total of $60,000. We have to, for the $10,000 one, we have to tell them what we intend to spend it on by June 26th.
Oh,
So,
what are the boundaries of that
Can
grant?
we bring the two of them together
yeah,
if we have to?
yeah. I mean, I think we would
We can
use
do
the
it.
10 if we
We
don't.
can do yet another project
Ugh.
and combine the two grants for one project.
Yeah, but we would have to say what that is by June 26th.
Got it.
So do we have a, what's the candidate?
Sorry, I had to do that.
Need like-
It's gonna be the Lions Mini Park drainage project.
So the parameters for the grant is that it has to be reducing emissions in some way. Or it has to be, solar or heat pumps or we,
I think it's okay to tell them what we're discussing.
Yeah, can it go
Yeah.
towards the cost of this thing?
Or is it gonna go to the police?
but we
No.
don't know if and when that would happen.
We have an application for yet another project for this building.
I know.
But you're talking about putting the police on it, no?
Yes.
Yeah,
So what we're looking at is replacing all fossil fuels at the village police department.
Oh, great.
And since it's already mostly electric, that wouldn't be such a heavy lift, so appropriate for the scale of funds.
Well, it's gas and electric.
Can they handle solar over there or not?
No,
Too many trees?
The other thing we did is,
not enough roof line. Not enough roof or not enough, you want to take over the parking lot.
yesterday, actually, we used the free energy study that we earned through this program at the water treatment plant. And there might be some low-hanging fruit there that would be within this scale of funding. So,
Like closed cell insulation or something?
yeah, like some additional spray foam insulation, or weather stripping new doors, maybe adding a heat pump to their office or something to kind of reduce the amount of oil that's being burned in their furnace. So that's another thing that we should discuss.
Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, those are my updates.
So our next meeting is when, the 25th?
Hold on.
Wait, no, wait. Hang on a second, I have a question.
No.
Our the fourth Tuesday is the 25th,
Yes.
so we can have this tabled for the 26th, okay. I just was curious, the dates.
So you want ideas before the 25th? Or on the 25th?
Yeah,
She's gonna bring it
yeah,
forward.
we need to vote on something on that meeting.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're working on a project.
right.
Yeah.
And we have to vote on it. Okay.
Okay, comprehensive plan.
The comprehensive plan held their public hearing on May 5th and May 8th. They were taking written comments until May 19th / when I stopped collecting them off of the public address, so more like Memorial Day. They're meeting on Thursday. They're going to be digesting the comments from the public on Thursday. The goal is to, well, you know what, we're just not going to say that out loud. So they'll be digesting the comments on Thursday and, hopefully have something final in July, and then we'll go from there. Everything is on the comp plan's webpage if you have questions. One of the things that we will be doing, because we don't want to just publish all of the emails, because that will require me to go through all of it and redact personal information, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Not names, but email addresses and all the rest of it. We're probably gonna develop a chart that shows every single comment that was made by every person and how the committee has addressed it, but that probably won't come out until after they've made their decisions on it. Just for public transparency and also frankly to help us in our public hearing process so we know what the comments have already been made and how the committee chose to address them. And so that way, when we go through our public hearing process, we will be able to handle new comments and we will know how old comments have already been handled.
I think
So,
that's a great idea.
Thank you.
yeah, so it is both for the public as well as for us to do a good job at our role. That's the comp plan.
Good. Okay. I'd like to make a motion for vacation buyout. We have two tonight. Employee number 13 would like to buy out 70 hours. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Employee number 21 would like to buy out 160 hours.
Lucky me.
I would like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I mean, just point blank, we have to do this.
No,
So,
I'm
yeah.
not saying, just saying, wow.
We're doing this because this is how we spend money.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And last, we have some anniversaries. Drum roll, please. For our treasurer, Karen McLaughlin, 9 years. Thank you, Karen, for all you do.
We have valued every second of
That's
it.
right.
Whether or not you have is a separate issue.
Still one step ahead of the law.
I'd like to make a motion to approve our water plant operator, Tony Fada, 23 years.
Yeah.
Yay, quick
It's been seconded by applause.
Exactly.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Highway MEO Tom Johnson, another 23 years. We really appreciate everybody and all the work they put in to keep the wheels on the bus moving forward all the time, even though we have a lot of tabs open. All in favor, so do I have a second for all of those, since we didn't get a second?
We don't need
We don't need a
There's
motion.
no motion, we just did.
What?
Just acknowledging them.
Acknowledging.
Okay.
no motion.
There's no vote.
No motion, all right. All right, but I am going to motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I'm afraid of all these, I'm gonna get stuck by one of these needles going back and forth.
That